All right, let's dive in. Today, we're cracking open the Project Manager's Toolkit. We're going to explore the key performance indicators, the KPIs, that really separate the successful projects from the ones that, well, don't make it. So let's get started. So, what is it that makes the difference between a project that just soars and one that completely sinks? It's a huge question, and I'll tell you right now, the answer isn't luck, and it's not even just about having a great team. The secret? It's not magic. It's all about measurement. See, the most successful projects are completely data-driven. We're about to walk through the 14 vital signs that are basically a health check for any project, giving you a crystal clear picture of what's going on at any given moment. Okay, first up, let's talk about the progress and time dashboard. This entire section is built to answer that one crucial question you're probably asking yourself every single day. Are we on track? We're going to start with the most fundamental metric there is, percent completion. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. This simple percentage shows you how much of the total work is actually finished, giving you the quickest possible snapshot of your project's progress. But, just knowing how much is done isn't the whole story, is it? You need to know if you're on schedule. And that's exactly where schedule variance comes in. Think of this as the heartbeat monitor for your project's timeline. And the formula couldn't be simpler. You're just comparing the work you planned to do with the work you've actually gotten done. If the number is positive, you're golden. You're ahead of schedule. But if it's negative, that's your first warning sign that you're falling behind. That's the moment to start asking why. Now, this is where things get really interesting because you're looking at time in two totally different ways. On-time task completion, that's like checking the team's daily pulse. Are they hitting their individual deadlines? But critical path analysis, that's about protecting the project's spine. It only watches those essential tasks where a single day of delay pushes the entire project's end date back. One is about team rhythm, the other is about protecting that final deadline no matter what. Okay, let's move on to our second dashboard. This is where time meets money. And here, we're tackling the two big questions every single stakeholder is going to ask you. Are we on budget, and is this whole thing actually worth it? So just like we had schedule variance for time, budget variance is your key indicator for financial health. It tells you right away if you're spending more or less than you planned, helping you get ahead of those dreaded cost overruns. And again, a beautifully simple formula tells the whole story. You just take your actual costs and subtract the planned budget. Now, here's the slightly counterintuitive part. A negative number is actually good news here. It means you're under budget. So for once, being in the red is a good thing. Beyond just keeping costs in check, we have to measure value. And that's the whole point of return on investment, or ROI. This metric answers the ultimate question, the big one. Did this project actually generate more financial benefit than it costs us to complete? Now, the formula might look a little mathy, but it's really straightforward. It takes the financial gain, subtracts the cost, and then divides that by the cost. What you get is a clear percentage that shows profitability. Honestly, this is the number that justifies the entire effort. This chart just nails the delicate balance of resource utilization. Your goal is to keep your team living in that optimal sweet spot. If they're underutilized, you're wasting resources. But if you push them too hard into that burnout risk zone, well, that's when things can seriously derail. Next up, we have the scope and quality dashboard. This one is all about the integrity of the project. It really boils down to two simple questions. Are we building the right thing, and are we building it the right way? So let's talk about the number one enemy of project integrity, scope creep. And just watch how quickly this downward spiral can happen. It always starts innocently, with a small, harmless change request. It gets approved without anyone really thinking through the consequences. And then, suddenly, your team is stretched thin, and before you even know it, both your deadlines and your budget are in huge trouble. So how do you spot this before it's too late? Well, one of the best metrics is the change request rate. If you are getting a flood of change requests, that is a massive red flag. It almost always means the initial requirements weren't defined clearly enough, and it's telling you that the very foundation of your project is unstable. Of course, building the right thing is only half the battle if you don't build it the right way. Quality metrics are the objective, hard numbers that measure how good your final product actually is, everything from defect rates to compliance with industry standards. And quality isn't just some vague feeling. It's measured with real data. Things like test failure rates and bug density, those tell you about the technical health of what you're building. Meanwhile, the number of customer complaints gives you a direct line into the end-user experience. These are the real-world indicators of a well-built project. All right, finally, we've arrived at our last dashboard, which you could argue is the most important one of all, the people and stakeholder dashboard. Because at the end of the day, projects are about people. Is the team working well together? And is the client actually happy? Look, you can hit every technical goal, come in under budget, and finish early. But if the client is unhappy, the project has failed. Period. That is why the customer satisfaction score, or CSAT, is so incredibly critical. It is the ultimate verdict from the people who matter most. And of course, customer satisfaction depends entirely on having a high-performing team. Team performance metrics go way beyond just individual tasks. They measure the overall collaboration and efficiency. Are there communication bottlenecks? Is one person constantly overloaded? Tracking this helps you manage the health of your team, because a product is only as strong as the people who build it. So, we've just covered 14 really powerful metrics. But here's the thing. The goal is not to just track everything all the time. It's about building a custom dashboard that tells you what you need to know. Does this mean you need some massive, complicated screen tracking all 14 of these KPIs constantly for every single project you run? No way. Absolutely not. The goal here is clarity, not complexity. Smart project management is about selecting the few vital metrics that tell the most important story for your specific project. For one project, that might be budget variance. For another, it might be all about quality metrics. Ultimately, anyone can use these KPIs to report on what already happened. That's the easy part. The real power, the real challenge, lies in using them to predict the future. So, the question I want to leave you with is this. What will your dashboard tell you about what's coming next?